Okay, we're live.
Fantastic. Welcome to another session of Battle Between the Worlds. This time, I'm the GM. I'm taking over for Maria as part of our collaborative GMing experiment that we're doing here. This time, we have only one returning character from our first session, so we're going to do something a little bit different. And we're going to flash back in time to learn more about Van and her relationship with Deneb, as well as introducing a new character to the series, Black Bolt. So, Agatha, we'll start with you. Can you just tell us a little bit about what Van looks like? Just a quick description for the studio audience.
Yeah, let me just put my peach away.
I noticed that I called on you while you were eating, and I felt a little bad, but
no, it's a good call. Don't worry.
okay.
So Van is a void rat. She is kind of the space version of a hippie dude, but is instead of space cowgirl. But space, in essence, they're kind of the same. Like in their souls, they're both pot smoking, peace loving. Okay, maybe not that part. One love, kind of Bob Marley listening to peeps. She wears mirror shades. She has a rundown spaceship, the same way that, like, I guess the Scooby-Doo gang has a rundown van. It's kind of the same vibe, except dirtier. And yeah, she's I don't know how. I feel like Deneb is gonna be like the character who's gonna be like the one hot person. So I think the way that Van is she's just like because she's so free that she ends up having a lot of lovers anyway, but it's not necessarily because of the way she looks. It's because of her outlook on life.
Well, she's also a void rat, so
yes, she is a void rat. So there's always that.
So, what is a void rat? That's the question. I'm sure it's on many people's minds.
That's a good question that I don't know the answer of. I chose a void rat purely based on the moves. I think a void rat may possibly be literally a rat? ? I don't know. I mean, the pictures show them as a person, so
I will say it's not a quiz. It's an opportunity.
for me to say whatever.
Yeah. So, what do you think a void rat would be? Is that a better way to put it?
Sure. I think, let's say, I think of void rat as an actual species. So they are humanoid. Their culture is very kind of like same way that hippies are, but also a little tribalistic. So they they kind of, people see them, like when they see them, they're like, oh my god, it's just them. Like they give off an impression of being kind of dirty, but like kind of able to get things done as well. So when you need something done, then you get a void rat, but you don't want people to know that you hired a void rat. Void rats themselves are very cool with this and are happy to just live life as they are. They have, so one of the moves is that I actually chose was when you lose yourself willingly or not, roll plus void, and then if I succeed, then I become bestial and attack my foes until I draw blood. I cannot be harmed or held at bay. And then, like, some of the complications if I don't succeed is that I just attack whoever. So I think there is a degree of that, like, that bestial nature that is in every void rat, and I think it's embraced at different degrees depending on the individual. Some view it with pride, some view it as just, that's just life. It's like having a period, perhaps. Like, it's not the best, but it happens. And then some view it with shame, like this is, they want to pass, so they want to pass as something else that's not a void rat. So that's how I mention it.
Yeah, that's a very interesting dichotomy, and I can definitely see the spectrum of how different void rats would feel about it. Whether that is true freedom and true, you know, ferality and being one with nature, or if losing control of yourself could lead to not being free. That's a really
Hmm.
interesting thing to think about, and one that we might not have time to explore in the middle of all of our swashbuckling antics, but I'll be thinking about it later.
Right.
Uh, Maria, can you tell us a little bit about Deneb, who may or may not also be an alien species?
Well, Deneb is definitely an alien species because she's a sidereal. Uh, they are uh, are weird because they're the star vampire. uh, so their whole deal is that they're this mysterious person, but also really hot, but mainly mysterious. And I'm not sure how she'll turn out, Hide. And I think I'm gonna explore that in play, especially since apparently she had sex with Van at one point in the past, present, or future. I don't fucking know. Her looks are alien, beauty, eternal, and lordly, and her special moves are the call and thy master's voice.
Which are all about telepathic communication and
Well, the
perhaps
call
mental
actually, I
domination.
read it again, and the call is when I call out to someone telepathically. So it's like a specific telepathic thing.
Okay.
I think she can speak telepathically normally, but the move is specifically triggered by something like a call specifically, hence the name.
Sounds good. Now, I plan to run this game pretty loose, and I think that the system and the setting encourages that. So I'm totally fine with Deneb being very enigmatic and mysterious. And at some point, something happens, and you're like, "Oh, by the way, I could do this because this thing about star vampires or sidereals." And I'm like, "Absolutely." So keep that free reign in mind. Finally, Ibars, will you tell us about Black Bolt?
Okay, so Black Bolt, I think it's a cyborg on the run, and he originated from a distant planet in a faraway place, in a faraway corner of the galaxy, and he had left a trail of bodies and 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 un- and like an incalculable amount of blood and tears behind. So the main reason he's with these two people, actually, just he uses them as a front to just keep the local authorities away, and at the same time he's giving his service as a maid to them, as a butler. And he always wears this long trench coat with some bandana or some hat, or large hat with googles and stuff like that. So he's actually a silent dude, tall, and he doesn't talk much. He's like the Frankenstein member of the family. And but he's actually really scary dude if you really close up front, I guess.
Very cool. Thank you for that, all of you. So let me tell you a little bit about where we see your characters now. Now, you've all been together for some time now, right? Adventuring together. And you currently find yourselves in a region known as the Algaian Reach. Okay. So I have a picture here that kind of shows what that looks like. I'll link it in the chat. But I'll kind of describe it for you a little bit as well. This is from viewing this planet from orbit, right? You see like a lot of like white, sandy looking surface with these deep cracks running along the edges, like these tectonic plates, right? Almost looks like a dead salt sea. But what you can't tell from orbit, right, and only until you get to the surface, is that there are actually large communities living underneath these gigantic plates, and there are these large, like, stone columns that hold them up in the air, right? And this planet, Algaia, is used for mining, resources, spaceport, things like that, right? I think it might make sense, right? That Deneb is someone who's constantly searching for knowledge, looking to learn new things. And I think it's possible that you've heard of a rumor that there's like a particular mysterious thing that has been found deep beneath the surface of Algaia.
Actually, if I may interject reason, I would like to say I'm meeting with Rigel
Okay, very good.
in the depths.
In the depths. Well, that's
Yeah.
the sort of thing I was expecting this mysterious thing to actually end up being. So let's just short circuit to that. You have arranged a meeting with Rigel. So let's say, so Rigel, obviously, well, maybe not obviously, is the name of a star. And that's a good hint that Rigel is a sidereal. So this is a person with great power who, when they have their time in the sky, hold immense godlike power. But for now, potentially
He's actually one of the 6 like behind the throne in charge, actually.
Okay, so this is one of the dudes who's helping to run this whole show and keep people in power.
Yeah.
I like that. Do you have an idea about why you'd be coming to meet Rigel?
Some deals. I just have to talk to him about not super I think he called me specifically.
Okay. I will figure out what that means. While I'm thinking about that, let's look a little bit. Let's see on screen, right? Your ship has, descended into the cracks of the surface of the planet, and you are sort of flying right by, into deeper and deeper into this thing, and you're flying by all these communities and people, right? I think you get pretty close to the street. Tell us a little bit more. What does your dilapidated spaceship look like, Van, on screen?
It looks like a space van.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's very boxy in shape. It has peeling paint on the outside, which is almost like an aesthetic choice, because if you're flying at that kind of speed, maybe faster than light, I'm not sure, like there shouldn't, whatever would be peeling should just like come right off, but this is like, it's done on purpose.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's made of ceramic, so I don't think like there would be paint on it anyway. I think spaceships are made of ceramic. Like they're plated with that. So
let's say
what is science?
Able to withstand the heat of returning to orbit and all those things. But you're saying that this is a stylistic choice of the paint you've applied. Mm-hmm. This is not necessarily.
Yeah.
Okay. So like we've established, right, this is a somewhat popular planet or spaceport to attend, right? So there's lots of other big freighters going by, mining ships. Everything does sort of have like a layer of like grease and grime on the bottom, and then like a sprinkling of white salt on the top. And that's how you know that a ship's been at the Algaian Reach for some time. But as your ship is kind of, queuing up in this space traffic lanes, right, waiting to take your exit into the core, what have you, you're able to sort of like drive by almost not quite street level, but where some of these communities have these buildings that are stacked up on top of each other, right? Probably there's a lot like anchored to these giant stone columns underneath the surface, right? I have a painting the scene question that I would like to ask of all of you. And if you have something an idea that comes to your mind, just go ahead and shout it out. But what do you see that makes it clear that the people who reside in the Algaian Reach live in constant fear? So think about that. Whoever has an idea, holler.
They move quickly, like more quickly than average. that is a clear sign of fear, I think.
I think they're not moving quickly as well, and they're not really there isn't any people on the streets at one time together. If there are people, they're like 2 or 3 people at most, and they really talk fast and quiet, like in a hush tone, something like that.
I also think that that everyone has these identifiers that are maybe located on somewhere that's around their collarbone, so it's very easily visible. And when people see each other, they like check it to make sure that the person, like, you can tell what there's also like different positions, probably like different levels of authority, and they see, depending on what level it is, they may not even talk to you, or if you don't have one, then it's like you're potentially dangerous for them, because if they're caught talking to you, they just don't know who you are, so they can't identify you to know what you are and what you may want and what kind of associations you may bring with you. So it's like a lot of it is based on that. So they always glance down at where the collarbones are on wherever alien creature, around that area below the neck.
And as you're traveling past one of these columns, in the distance, you can hear this loud rumbling. When you can see one of these columns out in the horizon is actually shifted and cracked, and you watch as like it just comes crumbling down, and the people on the street pause for just a moment, right? And they kind of look down, then they get back up and go back to their business, right? Walking steadily, quietly. Looks like that might just be part of daily life here, the Algayan Reach. And I don't know if you can help but look up and see this large plate of salt that's just sitting above your head. So, Deneb, I'd like to start with you. What's on your mind as you're heading to meet one of these people who you know is like one of these guys who's pulling the strings?
I think I'm thinking that he brought up me here in case he in case I pull some shit or he thinks I pull some shit. So I have my stuff ready.
So you're as suspicious as the people here, right?
Yes.
Now, have you made your fellow shipmates aware of your mission and who you're going to see?
Yeah, I say can we have a flashback before we go to the Algayan Reach?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Tell us where we're at.
So we're at the van. It's a cramped up space.
Just out here in the middle of the void.
Yeah.
Hanging out. Okay.
Yeah. And this is when I tell Van that we have to go to the Algayan Reach.
Why?
I have to meet with someone.
Okay, you like have to, or you just kind of wanna? Cause
it's have to. Trust me. I don't want to.
Okay, well, that planet is literally the worst, and I don't have one of those.
I could think of worse.
Yeah. Okay. Listen, it's not a competition. I'm just saying that I don't have one of those neck tattoos that they all have. And last night I was there, I almost died, so I don't really want to go.
I can give you a neck tattoo,
like a real one. Look, I don't want no like one of those temporary ones. Okay, I tried that, didn't work.
Sure, I can give you a real tattoo. I can attempt. But anyways, this is really important. We have to go there. But first, we have to stop at a decent planet, and get a gift for him.
What? Okay, is this like your dad or something?
Friend's dad.
Like, girlfriend/boyfriend's dad?
No.
Black Bolt, we need to buy a present.
So, if you can just, give us a few information about your friend's dad or your current relationship with him or with anybody we might see there, it will be good. But if you don't, I totally
The
understand.
fancier the gift, the better.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's
Alright.
fine. Deneb's rich, so you can just bill her later.
Bruh.
Do I have to prepare my expertise at dealing with people?
Yes. You pretty much have to. Well, I expect you to be quiet. Let me do the talking. Hopefully. I don't want any fuck ups here.
Fuck ups. Okay.
Or I can do the talking.
No, you're definitely not doing the talking, Van.
Oh, I hate this already. Okay.
And you're definitely not gonna hit on him. That's probably the worst thing that will happen here.
Ew, that's gross. I'm not gonna hit on your friend's dad. Maybe. Unless he's really cute.
I don't know. So I think I would like to know, Black Bolt, when you hear the Algaian Reach, like, is this one of those places that has been left in your bloody wake, or is it yet untouched by your hand?
I believe it's not a place directly affected from my past traumatic experiences, but it might contain some people who had relatives to my previous locations. So I'm kind of thinking maybe I'm walking into a living trap, just a trap ready to be sprung. And it's one of those moments that you kind of know that you're gonna face some hard stuff, and you cannot evade it. So it's like what happens when an unstoppable force meets an unmovable object, that kind of moment.
Do you show any of that? Like any kind of apprehension or whatever?
No, but if shit hits the fan, I'm ready to blow my brains out.
Okay, I'm just asking, like, if any, like, if Deneb or I could have noticed that.
Oh, maybe. I think since the character, or kind of thing, it doesn't show up any emotional, outcomes or any facial structures. But maybe you might hear a slow, disgruntled voice when she said that the next step is Al-Qaeda Reach. So it's like, Al-Qaeda Reach, but in a really slow voice, in a really dim voice.
Okay. So
subtle enough too, right? That it could be chalked up to, just like Van said, who wants to go to that shithole planet anyway, right?
Yeah. So let me rewind and say I haven't mentioned it's actually Rigel. I mentioned it's a friend of my the dad of my friend of mine, but not like actually Rigel. And I didn't mention who the friend is either. So
right. So like we cut back to you in the van going through the Reach, right?
Yeah.
And what gifts for a dad have you brought that are totally inadequate for like gifts to a god?
Fruits. We bought fruits from one of the planets that we were stopping at. They're like they're just like, they're supposed to be like really refreshing or something, because apparently dads in this universe also go through something like menopause, so they need, anyway, this is like this is Van, like literally reading off one of those listicles and being like, fruits. We gonna get fruits.
Good deal. And Black Bolt, I'm assuming you get sent to go pick up the fruits. Is there anything else at the marketplace that catches your eye that's like, oh yeah, a fancy man would like this?
Maybe some exquisite tobacco or some kind of wine. Maybe
Sure.
a nice jacket. I don't know. Something. I think wine would be really, really good.
So when you're handling these like elements of like distinguished taste and things like that, what is Black Bolt's like relationship with luxury and leisure?
I think he doesn't have any. He's just imitating people he sees in his life.
So this gives you no jealousy or envy or anything like that. It's just
it's just pure business, It's just pure business. So he just imitating people he sees in his life.
Very good. Well, unfortunately, Deneb, it's too late for them to go and get any,
Actual gifts,
magic crystals from some black hole or whatever, right? You've got fruits and wine, which, hey, you know what? If I got that for Christmas one year, that's better than ties and underwear, right? So as far as gifts for dads go, not too bad.
And at least I got an adequate gift.
Yeah.
Because I know who I'm dealing with, so
that's what I was going to ask. Like, knowing who you're dealing with, what gift do you bring to the Sovereign of Heaven, right?
Magic compass that points to like you tell a name and it tells you and it points to the direction where they're at. Not just compass, but like an astrolabe type of deal. So it pinpoints the specific location
in space.
In space.
Very cool. That's a potentially dangerous trinket to have for it. All-powerful, godlike dude, but hey,
I mean,
living on the edge.
Yes. I mean, I kind of have to give him something because it's expected. So
you take your exit from this space traffic lane, right? And you peel off from these huge lines of gigantic freighter cargo ships and things, right? And the direction you're heading, even within your climate-controlled ship, right? You start to feel...
Wait, there's climate control in the ship?
I mean, it's probably not great. Might be like a little... Well, I mean, what do you think, Van?
Yes.
The one thing you pay for is AC, right?
Yes, this is the it's got the basic essentials. It may not work all the time, but it's currently working.
So you can tell from the pressure differential, the sensors that are coming up on your screen, right, that indeed, the density is getting more powerful, gravity is getting more powerful, you're heading towards the core. But the thing that's odd is that your temperature readings are, instead of getting warmer, they're getting cooler, right? So you can, even in this cabin, feel like things are getting a little bit more cold, but also heavy at the same time. As you're getting closer, and you see, as you get deeper, there's more and more of these communities. You see people starting to wear like fur parkas and things like that to deal with the cold, and people look a little bit more hunched over because of the gravity being stronger here. There's lots of like furtive glances over the shoulder, and I wonder, like, when I look at the character sheets, I want to see which character might be the kind who would like be looking out. Like, who's looking out? Who's always looking over their shoulder? It's probably pretty clear it's Black Bolt, but
okay, Black Bolt, snuggle for warmth. By the way,
yeah.
Come on, Deneb, snuggle in.
All right.
Group hug, guys. Also, this place sucks. Did I say that already? Sucks.
Yeah, she said that already.
So you're probably the first, even maybe perhaps peering over someone's shoulder in this huddle, right? Just getting, I will say, at the moment you're getting a vibe, right? You're feeling like you're being watched. So you're getting closer. So
Is that Black Bolt or is it?
I would say Black Bolt is probably feeling this most strongly.
Okay, can I just? I just told Van and Deneb that you guys should watch your back. These plays, I mean, it's cruel. It hits you, just really quick, and you don't know what the hell is it hits you.
Aw.
Really advance with caution.
Aw, are you worried? That's cute. I'm gonna pat you on the
No.
cheek.
I'm just worried because if you fall down, I fall down. So
That's why you're gonna watch my back, right? Knew I
let's
could
just
count
say
on
that
you.
let's just say that we should act together in harmony if we're gonna survive this, or anything at all.
Look, if you wanted me to watch your back, you only needed to ask.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So what do y'all do to watch each other's back?
I don't have any assets or analyze moves, so I can't do jack shit.
You thoughts might be preoccupied even too with
yeah,
this.
yeah, that makes sense.
Van, is yours more of an emotional watch your back, or do you have an actual plan?
Yeah, I'm fully counting on Black Bolt to actually watch our backs because again, he's worried about his own safety, so he would worry about our safety because blah de blah. So I'm not worried about that. So I think first of all, I think he can handle himself, and then also I think he can watch my back. And I am keeping my eyes on Deneb because Deneb seems like she's like, oh yeah, I know what's going on, but she makes a lot of like weird mistakes because she's like not very connected with people or something. She says something about how it's because she's like something about the stars. I wasn't really paying attention because I was really high. So she just like, it's like weird, like doesn't get it. So I am like actually always watching her, even though I seem chill, but I'm like,
Yeah. Do you think you're like engaging your instincts as you watch her? Like,
yeah.
are you? What are you feeling? Like afraid?
I'm definitely nervous, and yeah, I'm ready for like. Because I always remember her scent, and I kind of I don't tell people this, but I can tell people's moods like a little bit. I can kind of tell how people are feeling by the way they smell to me, especially if they're like afraid or like angry, like very strong emotions. So I'm kind of keeping that in mind. I can't tell with Black Bolt because it's not a person
Because
or
it's a robot.
not an
Or
organism.
part robot at least.
Whatever he is on a different level, right?
Yeah.
So I'll say, if you'd like to, you could rely on your instincts here and see what your gut's telling you. That's one of your moves. You can roll with Feral.
Oh.
She has to ask a question about what threatens her, though.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I think my question is how can we how can we ensure that whoever we're meeting will let us go?
So you're feeling threatened by this meeting or Deneb?
By the meeting.
Okay, so you wanna know about the meeting. So we're gonna see what your instincts tell you. Roll with Feral.
Okay. Give me a sec. Forgot to do this in Firefox.
Yeah, it works on particular browsers for me also. While you're working on that, I want to talk to you quick, Ibars, about rolling the dice. We have an online dice roller that we like to use. It's called Roll for Your Party, and there's actually a link in the character sheet above one of the people's names if you want to use that. Also, if you want to roll physical dice, I'm cool with that too. I trust you. It's just going to be 2d6, which is pretty easy to generate. Would you like a quick walkthrough on roll for your party, or how do you think you'd like to roll dice today?
I'm okay with the roll for your party.
Okay, cool. So let's look at that real quick while Agatha's getting ready to roll dice.
No, she rolled. She got a 4.
I just did. Yep.
Oh, cool. So what I see right now is a beautiful line of multiple colors of dice, which can be a little confusing. So one thing I recommend first to you, Ibars, is to unclick sort dice, because that will sort the dice. And since we're rolling with pairs, we want to kind of
reload because I cleared that a while ago.
Oh, well, still recommend that.
Done.
Oh, cool. There's Vanda in the corner. So if you look at that top line here, you'll see that the boxes next to D4 and D6. I'm going to type in 2 next to the D6, and I'm going to choose yellow to be my color. And when I click submit, it'll roll 2 dice for me, right? And then if you can click those dice and it'll highlight them with those red boxes, and you can delete them, you can re-roll them, whatever works for you. You can add labels as well. So, and you can drag the dice around that white space. So that might become relevant because while we're thinking about Van's failure, yes, I want to hold that for a moment, hold that thought, and I want you to tell me about what Black Bolt's doing to watch everybody's back here.
Oh, Black Bolt actually looks over his shoulder more than he has ever done in this, in a couple of days, and he watches Van's actions carefully, and just he's really aware of his surroundings, and if there's any type of mechanical or any type of computer lying around in the streets or stuff like that, he uses his direct interface jack just to hack the system and check the local security cameras to see any type of people, looking directly, to these 3 people, or
wow,
just the
really
ship
cool.
itself.
Cool. So you have like a cool jack that you can use to hack and stuff, right? So
yeah, actually, if I may just to say that I choose my gear, and it's it's close combat weapons, projectile weapons, and direct interface check.
Very cool. So you're connecting to the local network here in the Reach, right? And you're trying to access the security cameras around to get a closer look at these people, right?
Yep.
Where do you plug in? What does that look like on screen, so to speak, right? Do you have some sort of signal boosting router that allows you to connect to these wirelessly? What do you think?
On the surface, it's really an old type of computer, and but once you connect it, it actually shows layers upon layers of highly sophisticated, I'm gonna say, cybernetic stuff.
Yeah.
So the people here are actually afraid because nothing is really real on the surface level. So they're actually really afraid of something much more enigmatic and powerful, I guess. So, and the main screen looks like some kind of like a old Commodore screens, stuff like that. It's just point blinkers. But when you open, when you open it, it's like 3D scans with everybody's eye colors or heights, weights, blood types, stuff like that. So it's really detailed, I guess, if I succeed. If I succeed at all.
I was gonna say, that definitely sounds like that would be you analyzing something with your advanced sensors. So you get to ask a question about the situation and then roll. So specifically, what question are you looking to answer as you check all these people out?
Okay.
It could be any question.
Okay. My question is, who is the local, I'm gonna say, thug, the main thug to be avoided at all costs? Like, who's the top thug in here?
Okay. Go ahead and roll with science. And depending on your result, I'll either tell you all you need to know, or it might just be something useful, interesting. If
Or
not,
something interesting in a complication, if you missed.
Right. Which I like, because no matter what, it'll be something interesting. And
It's another miss on the table.
so I'm going to introduce.
I guess I failed.
Yeah.
Yes. But what I like about the wording of these moves is that no matter what, I get to introduce something interesting. So that's cool for me. What were you going to ask, Maria? Sorry.
If you don't have any ideas, I can help you.
Yeah. Well, I definitely will probably ask for your help a little bit about Van's question.
Which was how do we not piss him off? And that was a miss.
What was it? Yeah, could you restate that question for us? Was it like, how can we assure that we can get out of there? What do you think it was?
Yeah. Right? How can we make sure that this friend's dad is gonna let us go?
That was what the gifts were for, right?
One would hope. I'll tell you something interesting with that. But did you specifically have an idea that just sprung to your mind, Maria, about one of these things?
I had an idea about the other one, the one of the thug, because clearly the biggest thug around here is whoever we're seeing.
Right,
because
I would love.
He's really fucking worried about that, especially since we have shitty gifts, most of us.
Yes, I'd love to hear the interesting thing about this thug that we're looking for. Who seems to be holding the power here in the Reach?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's the guy we're seeing. Unless you have a better answer.
No, I think that would be very dramatically appropriate, right? For you have all these like windows popping up, right, about different like news reports and things like that. And I don't think that anything is particularly like, there's no headline saying like Rigel's in charge.
Well, more like there's no particular headline saying Rigel's a thug.
Oh, okay. So
it's the opposite. Like he's in charge, but he's considered not a thug.
Okay, yeah. Perfect. So you don't necessarily find any sort of criminal overlord here, but you do find Rigel. So I think even like the picture that's provided for this like cybernetic scream sheet, right? This like semi-futuristic newspaper, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it almost seems to be like burning the pixels out of your display. Like it's really bright. And I think you see this figure. It's not even like a photograph of them. Like it had to be done as a painting. Like even having like this image would like burn out a lens, right? And it just shows like this like stately painting like that you might imagine of like a noble lord, except like instead of a normal human face, it's like this strange like alien protrusion with like a halo that's like grown out of it. Very odd. I think I might have a cool picture here to share, but
I also have the pic, so
if you have a picture, share a pic. But imagine if it was wearing like a suit. So I want to get back to Van's gut instinct here, right? I think that like as you get closer and closer to this place, that feeling of like oppression is just getting stronger, right? Like it feels like the gravity is like affecting your spirit even, right? And I think that like you can see even in like the eyes of the people who are around here as you look out like the viewports of this window, right? That people are very nervous and scared. And you're just feeling more and more strongly that like you're going into a trap. That so as a rat, right? When you see a trap, rats often want to find a way to have their cake and eat it too.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So how do you like deal with going into a trap? Like what is your thought process when you see something that has this bright shining golden opportunity for you with a big old metal bar waiting behind just laying down on your hand? How do you approach that?
Well, I think I am first of all definitely prepping my escape route. So I think I go to check on the explosives in the back, which are right where the weed is. It's kind of in the same container. It's all good. Don't worry, guys. I got it covered. And
We got illegal cargo in the back.
it's not illegal.
Who said weed was illegal?
Yeah, it's been legalized since the year 1300.
It's a plant, man.
But he doesn't
make
know.
a plant illegal? No, I'm kidding.
Don't even worry about it, Black Bolt. And then I also want to ask.
You are illegal cargo. Just say.
I mean, that's accurate. So.
I mean, we're all technically illegal cargo except for me because I am the actual owner of this. But I don't think I got this by illegal means. But that's not the point. I'm also gonna ask Deneb about this friend's dad.
Okay. What?
So your friend's dad is pretty rich.
You can say that.
Okay. Do they have like cool stuff
You can say that.
in their house? What kind of cool
Maybe.
stuff? Go on. Pretend that you're bragging to me.
Let me.
About your friend's dad.
Why would I brag about my friend's dad?
Okay, that's not the point. I said pretend to brag to me.
So, he has. How do I explain this?
He has something that does something. What does it do? Can it be carried?
No.
No?
Okay.
Okay, I'm not interested in that one then.
We're still going in. We have to.
No, that's fine. Is there anything else that can be carried? That's my question.
Wait, are you going to steal from Rigel?
Rigel?
Do you have a consult your knowledge move?
Wait a second. Did you say Rigel?
Yes.
I'm gonna think back in my rat brain.
Think back in your rat brain, yes. Oh, you do have consult your knowledge. Okay, cool.
I do. Yes. I'm gonna do that now.
Yes.
If you're cool with that.
Oh yes. Because things are about to go down. So I'd like to see if you have any questions you can ask before they do.
I have a lot of questions. Thanks, Deneb. Let's see. I rolled a 7, and I think that's with Urban. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. It's a 9.
Yeah.
Okay. So
consult.
So, what is your question about Rigel?
I will say here, someone can help you here in this situation and maybe bump that up to a +10.
No, like Deneb's gonna help that. Other
yeah.
than burning out the
Help.
names.
Help or interfere. So
I don't think.
does-
Well, at this point, she literally told you who the person was, so I don't think she can interfere like that.
can you help? Do you have bonds with me? How does this work? I don't know how bonds work.
Oh, we were supposed to do those.
Whoops.
Well, I thought it might be good to skip bonds just to give us a little bit more time to get into the action.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I'll just say
+1.
Yeah, just you can just give a +1. I won't even make it a roll. Just tell me how you're helping.
How am I helping? I don't want her to know.
Or what if
interfering
Black
too.
Belt?
So yeah,
Black Belt, do you want to help?
Well, Blackbird is
Yeah.
looking up information on Rigel right now, so that helps.
Yeah, I like to help, but I do really want to understand the situation here. We
Yeah.
are just going to see your friend's dad, and on the same side, we just want to take something from him, from
Do
the
you-
most dangerous planet, from the most dangerous man or creature on this planet. Am I correct here? Am I losing something here?
Like Black Belt, you need to get that stick out of your ass. No offense. And also, I was just asking. I did not say that we are gonna do that. And also, I did not know that it was Rigel. Deneb, why you lied to me?
I did not lie to you. That is not a lie. He's my friend's dad.
Okay, could you kindly explain why are we seriously want to meet with this guy?
Rigel's like some kind of
in
mafia.
short sentence.
Yeah, for reals.
He asked me for it, and you know very well that I cannot deny the fucking Sidereal Mafia.
you hear.
So basically, we're just seeing him because he actually wants you to talk to him. Am I correct?
Yes.
I would like
So-
to interrupt here and tell you, just because this is a very dramatic moment. You hear a loud clank from the outside of the ship.
Well, shit, we're here. Put on your happy faces now, please.
Okay, we're not going out
You're
until
not
you
quite there
explain.
yet.
Oh, we're not?
No. And you hear another clank.
Black Belt, can you check?
Sure, I'm on it. I'm going to the main screen. If the main screen is open, just to check what's going on out there before opening the hatch of the main window. I'm gonna say.
So while you're having this discussion, on screen we see basically these 4 smaller ships that have surrounded you. Right? They've sort of, after you peeled off, they kind of followed you. And I think when you stood up from your computer to go ask about what the situation was, we see like your search is still like popping up, right? And more news articles come up. They're talking about resistance efforts, people that are rebelling against Rigel and trying to, sort of retake the reach, so to speak, right? And so that stuff is just sort of on the corner of the screen as you 3 are talking. And then as you open up you check the cameras or look at the viewport or whatever, right? You see that now a 3rd ship has like attached this like magnetic harpoon to the outside of your ship.
Oh, hey, Van, they're wrecking your already wrecked ship.
What do you do?
I turn on comms.
I don't need this kind of sass from you, Deneb, but also true.
I turn on comms and I say, I hail them basically.
We know who you're going to see. You're an agent of that tyrant Rigel, aren't you?
I'm just
No,
looking
we
at the girls.
Sorry. No, we came here to by request.
Exactly my point. You're in cahoots with that man. And you hear a fourth clank as that fourth magnetic harpoon comes and clings onto your ship.
Okay, look, I'm like really poor, and I'm like leaning over, like so I can speak over Deneb's shoulder. I'm like really poor, and this ship was mad expensive, sort of. So, can you not do that? And just like yell at us instead?
And we have a pleasant conversation over this instead of destroying a ship that is already pretty destroyed.
And I'm gonna lean back and like furiously search through the whatever search results that Black Bolt pulled up, so I can see if there's any items.
Okay, so
I'm just gonna ask a small question. If the ship that has attached the magnetics to our ship is actually a bigger ship or a comparable size?
So I think that these four ships are each look like they might have like two people in them, right? They're like smaller personal transport ships, right? Whereas your ship probably has cargo space and bunks, right? So they're somewhat smaller, but they have the advantage of numbers.
Is there a way that I can check the pilots of these ships so that maybe I have a chance to see if I knew some relatives of these people that I have killed? I can tell them to back off immediately.
Black Bolt, we're not killing anyone here.
Well, I don't know if you would expect the butler to do anything like that.
All right. So
here's where I'm sitting, right? We have a few different things going on here responding to this, right? We have Van, who is maybe trying to create a social connection here to try to work things out. Van, Van at least I think has the option to do something dangerous by putting herself in personal harm way in order to make a social connection. That's one of your moves. I see that it sounds like Black Bolt is maybe trying to work towards using that voice of Zardoz to try to intimidate these people by saying, "Oh, hey, I killed your uncle," or whatever, right? And potentially reveal his true identity to his...
We don't even have to do that. I can do the same thing pretty much with Thy Master's voice.
And you could take over their minds and command them to do something as well. Yeah, so there's a lot going on here all at the same time. We're all trying to achieve a similar goal with different methods here.
All right, so I turn off comms temporarily and say, "All right, Van, what do you want to do?"
Huh? What? Yeah, that's a good idea. And I'm like scrolling.
Okay, so I turn comms back on and say, "Let us go, or we will destroy you." And in Thy Master's voice. So that is plus hot.
Okay. This and one of the consequences of this is they could be turned on by you.
Oh boy, that's a snake eyes because we're rolling so well today.
Okay.
Rurushi, you failed.
It will be Daijobu.
They do as they wish, and the GM tells you the consequences. So, I'm going to say what they do here. I mean, obviously, we still have stuff going on, right? But these magnetic harpoons that have like attached to your ship, right? You hear from the comms, who's apparently the leader of this group, says, "I'd like to see you try." And then we see like electronic power surge goes through these harpoons and they zap your electronics. So Van, that search you were doing, screen goes blank, and I think Black Bolt, you feel a little bit of feedback from being plugged into your console, right? As that kind of travels up your systems. So your ship has lost access to its electronic systems here, and you're on glowing yellow lights, right? So further communication would have to be done without the access to comms. So what do you think? How does that affect your methods here?
I have a question about like my successful roll before. Do I have, because my question
I must
for
have missed that. I'm sorry.
no worries. It was so that was when I was rolling for the info one.
Oh, the
consult my knowledge.
Yeah, the one with
Yeah.
Rigel.
Yeah,
The question. What was your question about Rigel?
Yeah, and my question is, what is one sick thing that I can steal?
Yes, sorry, I totally blew past that.
No worries.
Something sick you can steal from Rigel. Well, I think it's definitely true that Rigel has received lots of gifts, over time, right? People coming to try to curry favor with him, right? But as far as like something that would appeal to you in particular, so you were looking up basically like auction items or whatever. You were going through his personal eBay sort of thing, right?
Yep.
I think it would appeal to Van. Ibars, Maria, what do you think from what you've seen of Van so far? Something that she would really like.
A better Van.
Maybe a really vintage clothing or vintage perfume, something like that. Maybe.
That also has
know.
some kind of like cool function, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe once you use it, it gives you a temporal aura of maybe no, it's not high, but maybe once you like use this deodorant or this perfume, it actually sings a song constantly in your head.
Once I use this deodorant, are you saying something about me, Black Bolt? Because that's pretty rude.
Wait, is this that deodorant that sings? Because that'd be pretty hype.
I shower every day. I do not stink. Thank you very much.
But you don't have a deodorant that sings, honestly.
That's
I don't think you have that.
I wonder if something really cool could actually be like a pair of mirror shades that
Oh yeah, that's how you got your mirror shades, probably, right?
Yeah, so maybe I don't have them yet. Oh, and it's like I just want there's some cool tech component to it, but I can't think of it right now. So maybe just like some mystical mirror shades.
Yeah, I do like the idea that this is where we find Van's signature mirror shades. And in Black Bolt's defense, you have defined yourself as a dirty hippie. So I think that having a musical deodorant would be applicable.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We'll table that one. We'll put that in the random magic items table, for some other game, right? But yeah, so is that something that like elements of style, is that something that appeals to Van? Is like you're looking through, do you go to the fashion section, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, everything. Anything I can get my grubby paws on.
Yeah, so you definitely, I think something that sticks out to you are these vintage mirror shades. And when we talk about vintage in a galactic scale, we're talking about like ancient, right? So
it can be also it can be also the mirror shade that belonged to John Lennon. I don't know.
Could be like a historical thing for sure. So I'm just going to give you one hold, right? Because you got a 10+, which means you have everything you need to know. So you can spend that hold to either locate the mirror shades or determine their function. Okay, so hold on to that.
Cool.
Yeah, but right now, power down.
Okay. So I mean, I kind of just did a thing, so I don't know if someone like if Ibars, you want to do something to
maybe time for
better
violence,
this?
Black Bolt.
Yeah, it's I kind of look at Van and I tell her, may I have the room, please, with your permission.
All right, you're gonna do something I'm not gonna like, are you? Give me your apron.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
I
take the
hand over
apron.
my apron.
I take it and I leave. Close the door after me.
Yeah, I think if the conditions permit me, I'm actually gonna leave the ship, then jump. Use these magnetic poles to go to the nearest ship and basically try to incapacitate the pilot or something like that, just to block, just to make sure that some shit hit the fan over there.
Hell yeah, that's absolutely what you can do. Cool. Well, I think that you're doing something dangerous by using violence here, right?
Yep.
So we've established that you're a butler. You may be a somewhat competent butler in the eyes of your crewmates, but have they witnessed you like committing violence on a competent scale? Because it sounds
No.
like Van kind of knew some stuff was about to go down, but okay.
I
So
think she may have some doubts, but she never actually seen me on action in action before.
so Deneb, you're seeing, and you can go ahead and roll Black Bolt with destruction, but you're
Okay.
seeing your butler go into action mode. What are you thinking about, Deneb? What's going through your mind?
I mean, it's about time we did. That's what butlers are for, right?
For kicking butt? I would hope
I
so.
think I have rolled an 8, if I'm not mistaken.
Sounds
An
good.
8 plus 2, so it's like 10.
Oh, full 10. Awesome. So you get to describe you avoid falling prey to the danger and you put yourself in an advantageous position. So just go ahead and tell me a bit more like what you do when you get a hold of this ship. Like you're the engine of destruction. What do you do?
So he's just so Black Bolt leaves the ship and grabs the magnetic cord and travels to the other ship. He just opens up the hatch, goes inside. The lights went down, screams, blood. Then he controls. I mean, if I don't know if the move allows me, then he controls the ship so that he goes to the other side and crash into the other ship so that he can actually free just the two sides of the ship. Then he transfers to the other ship and turns off the microphone and he just says, "Do you wish to continue?"
Oh,
Actually, I have telepathy, so I would like to roll. if that's okay with you, unless you want to do Stardust.
It's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I mean, I just want to like make this crystal clear, right? So you've like taken control of one ship and you controlled it to go and swing over and crash into another ship. So now there's only 2 ships left anchored to your space fan, right? But you're operating one of these ships, like you're inside of it, hitting the comms?
Yes.
Okay. So, but you're detached, right? You took away the harpoon or whatever, right?
Yep.
Okay. Cool. And now you're trying to get on the comms with one of these other ships and say like, "Hey, I'm pretty badass," right?
All right.
Exactly.
Can we do that with the call and then with help?
So tell me so you see your butler get out and pull off this Mission Impossible stunt, right? What are you thinking?
That's what butlers are for, right?
You just think, okay, very cool. So you're just rolling along with this, right?
Yeah.
So you hear, either through your telepathy or these comms that Black Bolt is trying to intimidate these people into giving up. But you want to help him do that. Is that right?
Yeah, I want to use the call.
Okay. So are you like imbuing his statement with like your own telepathic power? Cool. So this rebel leader, he hears your statement, right?
It's also a roll.
The comms. I'll just let that be for like assistance when we maybe look at this Zardoz move. But he's hearing this call and it's coming through his comms and he feels it in his mind. And even though your statement is very, sort of level, he feels like this sense of dread coming through your words. And you just asked, "Are you done?" Is that right?
Yeah, I just asked, do you wish to continue?
Do you wish to continue? So this is pretty clearly a threat. So go ahead and roll with destruction again. Let's see. And you can get a +1 from this telepathic boost.
I think it's a semi-success, something like that. I just rolled a 5.
+3 is 8.
Okay. So on a 7+, they must choose to do one of the following: attack you immediately, back away slowly, or do what you want.
So I have to choose, or you're gonna choose?
I will choose one of these.
Okay.
I mean, I might ask you, but back away slowly, do what you want. I'm thinking about like what these people go through on a daily basis, right? Where they're constantly living in fear of like, and they're running around, and they're being very quiet, and always looking at people's authority, and authority figures are very intimidating to them, right? So I'm wondering. I think that these people might be pushed to a point where they're not worried about death because it could come at any time anyway. So
they had enough, They had enough.
Yeah. So I think that you hear him say back to the comms. You can like audibly hear like his throat like you hear him swallow. And he says, "I will continue to the death." And I'm thinking that like your ship, you feel it lurch, right? And the whole ship still kind of groaning against the force of these two magnetic harpoons, and it is has redirected the ship towards like one of these gigantic columns, these stone columns, and it's trying to smash the ship. But you still have your own little private skiff. And Agatha, I know you just went off camera, but I'm thinking that the Captain Van here might feel her precious ship being dragged along. So if you're with us, I might ask what you would do. Oh, I got a BRB. So I will go to Deneb then, who's still inside the ship. You feel it moving underneath your feet. What do you do?
So what's so I just have to go down to get to Rigel, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So I grabbed all the gifts, even the shitty ones, because I guess they're gonna show up eventually. And I basically open the door and walk out and fall.
Okay. That's very dramatic. Cool. So is this
Am I seeing this? Am I seeing that she has actually jumped from the ship?
I think you would see that. And it sounds like you're not looking very phased. Is this like an element of your sidereal nature where you're not concerned about falling a great depth? Or what do you think?
Well, my 6 or less on suffer harm. Well, no, it's like, well, never mind. It's like I can mechanically I can't die until it's the climatic aim scene, but
True.
I think either I'm expecting to have someone catch me.
Okay.
I'm either expecting for whatever his face is, Black Bolt, Black Bolt to catch me, or to arrive at Rigel's place and have that stop my fall.
Wow. Well, that's very presumptuous of you, and yet I don't know if I would expect any less from a star princess, right? So the whole universe shall bend to your whim, and that might very well be the case. I don't know if there's a role there or not just yet.
Suffer harm. If Black Bolt doesn't catch me, which is do something dangerous.
If you jump out of a ship in the middle of a planet, that might be what happens. I guess I hadn't anticipated that course of action. Yeah, Black Bolt, what's your immediate reaction to that?
Okay, once I see that she has actually jumped from the ship, and that at the same time our main ship is dragged into a big stone, big pillar of stone, I'm actually moving Skiff under her arc of falling, so that I can open the door of the small ship, and she crashes into the pod. And by doing that, I'm actually rotating the ship's course of action, so that it actually just moves, just kind of moves past that big wall of stone. So it's actually 2 birds with 1 stone. That one move. Okay. I'm trying to do that.
Yeah. So you still have your harpoon attached, and you're trying to do both those things. That sounds pretty difficult to pull off. Yeah. When I look to see your moves, I think you're doing something dangerous. This sounds like you're trying to move very precisely. You're trying to think very quickly. This is a very particular sort of like tangent that you have to take to get both catcher and angle the ship. I think you're probably going to be rolling with engines to do something dangerous. But I look at it. Is this personally dangerous? We'll just roll with it because
I think engines makes more sense.
Yeah, let's just roll with it.
Okay, engines it is. It's a 10.
Nice.
Whew. Okay, cool, because that could have been pretty bad.
I want a raise in my salary.
So one thing to keep in mind too is that you've again put yourself in an advantageous position. You get to take +1 to your next roll. Okay. So Captain Van. Sorry, there's a motorcycle going by. Your ship is being dragged to and fro by people outside your control.
Also,
how do you feel about that?
Isn't it like turned over, like turned upside down at this point?
I could definitely see that happening with all these forces maneuvering on you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've kind of grabbed your ship.
I'm currently on my back with some large box on me. It's very rude. Okay, I'm pushing it off me, and I thought they could handle it, the 2 of them, but seems like these people need a little more convincing. So, sorry. Let's see. I kind of. Do y'all think that you have it under control, or no, not yet?
It's pretty I think it's pretty under control. We just have to make sure the captain doesn't chase us.
Okay.
Also, do we have? Oh yeah, we have telepathy, so I can tell Van directly.
Okay.
Yeah, you could probably try to escape in your 2-person craft and leave Van with 2 ships dragging her ship if you wanted to. Split up.
No, no. I mean, I tried to save her too. It's her ship, so I will definitely save her.
That is
Okay.
debatable.
I mean,
ship.
at this point, it's definitely my ship. Okay. I think I'm just gonna go like. How close are we to Rigel's place? Shay Rigel.
Yeah. I think we are fictionally close enough that once you deal with these people, you'll be there in an instant. So, what do you think? What's your thought process?
I'm just gonna ditch these people to the 2 super capable, super awesome teammates that I have. Because I feel like any more moves is kind of like it's kind of I feel like it's front loading it a little bit.
Sure.
So I am going to be like, yo, okay, sounds great. I'm okay. And then I'm like getting ready to basically peace out of there. And I'm gonna sneak into Rigel's place.
Okay, so you're gonna sneak in your own way.
Yep.
What's your plan? We're just gonna cut to you sneaking in.
Yeah, I think I have some like usual sneaking in burglary gear. I think I call them my visitation gear. And I'm gonna blast myself out of my ship.
So you're gonna let them take your ship off to do with whatever they're gonna do with it.
Yeah, I think they'll be fine.
Okay.
At least this is what Deneb tells me, and I'll trust her.
So you have like a cool jetpack or something.
Yeah,
You
yeah, I
hop out the
got.
escape hatch.
Yeah, and I think I usually wear like a space suit as well, so I'm ready. I'm ready for this.
Okay. So
Wait, so do we know you're sneaking into Rigel's place instead of like?
No.
Okay.
Or narratively, would you prefer that I told you? Because I can.
No. It's just like I'm just trying to figure out like what does the Deneb know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, I can say like, awesome, doing great, guys. I'll see you inside, and then like leave.
Oh, okay. So we know that you're getting there somehow.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool.
I think that works.
and you hear over the comms, ha 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 ha. We have taken your ship and your mission is certainly doomed to fail now. And you see them like sort of pod race this ship, off to some other quarter of the reach. So now we have Black Bolt and Deneb in this cute little 2-person space pod, right?
Taxi.
Yeah, it's probably that equivalent to that. And then we have Fan shooting off, getting ready to sneak into this palace a different way.
I'm looking at the wine and I'm like, this isn't even vintage. What we're going to be so fucked when we get there.
So my plan from here is to sort of like dramatically cut to the meeting, right? And to have the 2 of you talking with Rigel, and then also simultaneously like talk about what Van is doing sneaking around. But I think that now would be a good time to take another 5 or 10 minute break. And when we come back, we'll have a good half an hour or so to sort of come to a resolution.
Cool.
That sound good?
Do you want it to be a 5 or 10 minutes?
Let's say at 15, we'll be back.
Cool. Sounds good. So my dad, who is like not very young, well, my mom just came to me and was like, "Your dad is breaking rocks right now. You should tell him to stop so he doesn't break his back." And I had to go and rescue my dad from doing more of that work. And now I have his tool with me.
Why is he trying to break rocks?
No, they're actually like, so it's like just pieces of concrete that like were, I don't know, they're left over from something. And it's like, it's very hard to get rid of them. Like you can't just throw them away as waste. So my dad's like, "Oh, I'll just break all of these and then we can put them in our flower bed."
Oh.
He's like, he's old, but he just can't stop.
All right.
Anyway.
Okay. We all ready?
Yeah.
Cool. Final sequence. You arrive at the core of the planet, and I think what this looks like in this science fantasy setting is like a big hollow space. And of course, you know, like this would be like thousands of miles deep within this planet, but we're just gonna blaze right past that space science knowledge to find this big hollow space and this like large geodesic dome, like it's kind of like a Dyson sphere type thing, right? Like a bunch of triangles on the surface that form this large, bright, white, shining sphere, sort of contained within these metal girders. And I think that they've determined your identity, right? They know who it is that's coming, and we just see like this one small pod like coming in. There's like this line of like glowing white lights that's like leading you towards this central triangle that like you enter into, right? And this is going to be Rigel's palace. And you get out of your borrowed taxi, right? And your first steps onto this surface, right, are like heavy thuds. Like you feel this huge oppressive weight on your shoulders, right? It's like almost all you can do to keep yourself upright, right? Although, you know, maybe you've accounted for this somehow. One of you is a cybernetic machine who might have, you know, cool struts to power you, and one of you knew exactly who you were coming to see, so you might have thought about this beforehand, and we know that you have access to gadgets and whatnot that might help you in a gravity environment. But you're led by two figures with golden robes, and they sort of walk you to the throne room. And you see within this dome, right, that it's like a mansion, right? There's several rooms and corridors and things like that. Perfect place to hide a bunch of very expensive goodies. But you're led to the throne room. And I think this throne is very, very large, like immense. The size of like a building. No, that's too much. It's really big though. And it's like on like a swivel pedestal, right? And as you approach the throne, this large white marble column that this throne is sitting on, it turns slowly towards you. And sitting on the throne is Vega, Rigel's daughter. Twist.
Wait. What are you doing here? Wait, I don't. Wait, what? So I'm like.
Do I know this character? Do I have any?
Consult knowledge, I guess.
Well,
I mean, I do, but like,
I
would certainly do, but.
So here's the information I'll hand out for free. Vega is Rigel's daughter, like Deneb had said. her friend, so to speak, right?
She's
And
also the Polaris.
well, I think everyone in the galaxy knows. I think this is like the cusp of her coronation, right? Like she's nearing her place in the stars. The power of the last person was waning. So she's not a full god.
Oh, okay. So she's getting there.
But
Not yet.
Yeah. She's preparing to take on her role as Queen of the Galaxy. Right? But I wanted to ask Black Bolt. I think that your wake of destruction is tied to Vega in some way. That her rise and fall, that your bloody wake is just like the tides rising and falling. It's tied to her. So why is that? What is the connection there? Do you serve her or do you oppose her or what?
I think the people that I have dealt with was her enemies in the past. So unbeknownst to me, I just led her to become much more powerful by eliminating those people. So I'm guessing I kind of helped her without even knowing actually what I did.
Okay.
I don't know if that's acceptable.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but I guess I would just ask like, so Black Bolt, you were serving her when you killed? Were you killing in her name? Were you killing under her orders? Or who did you think you were serving when you were killing?
I think I have killed those people by indirect orders from her. I think she used some of her agents or some of her lesser authorities to place some bounties on those people, and I did those. But eventually, it all ties down to her.
Okay. So she knows you better than you know her in this moment.
Fine by me.
So, Deneb.
Deneb is muttering incoherent noises because she's super confused.
I would like to know from you why your motivations or what your motivation is and why it's in opposition to like Deneb's or to Vega's rise. Like why is this like the last person you'd want to be seeing right now, basically?
Well, because I was in an okay relationship with Rigel, she's not.
Okay, so there's this sort of triangle where like she's his daughter, but like you get along with Rigel, but you don't get along with her very well.
Well, I used to, but now it's like more strained than not.
Okay. So I just want to hear like your theory. Like, why do you think Vega would call you here?
I have no fucking idea.
Okay. So you're feeling a little bit out of your element, I think, for the moment. But Van, you are like fully in your element because you are sneaking through the marble white halls of this mansion looking for goodies. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So question for you. Would it be more interesting for you to explore this place and then tell me what the mirror shades do? Or would you rather get directly to the mirror shades and I figure out what they do?
Oh, interesting.
Like if you have this one hold, you can either locate or describe.
Well, okay. So the thing is, I also have the infiltrate move.
Mm.
And also the steal move.
Mm.
So
I want to use both of those.
So I'm guessing then I'll sneak in and then figure out what it does, right?
So like infiltrate is your way to get in, stealth is or stealing is your way to get out.
True.
Looking at the consequences, right? Okay. Well, tell me a bit about, like, this is not like a dark and seedy alleyway that you're in. This is like a well-lit, white walls, like palace guards kind of place. And you've got on your like all black stealth suit, right? How are you operating stealthily? What does it look like when Van does that?
I think my suit, let's just say that my space suity thing, it can take on the property of someone that I see. So I just need to see someone first without being seen. If I can get away with that.
Well,
it's not like very detailed, so if someone were to look closer, they can definitely tell that it's not real. But like from a, like talking distance, it's harder to tell.
Okay. Well, conveniently for you, a lot of these palace guards all have this similar uniform with like these golden robes and whatnot, right? So if you see one of them, you can pass as a guard while you're walking by. So let's see if you get scrutinized closely, though. Why don't you roll to infiltrate?
Okay.
While you're working on that, let's cut back to Deneb and Black Bolt, right? So I think you both have this feeling, like, first of all, this oppressive gravity, but also like Vega's eyes are like boring into your souls, it feels like, right? Like she really seems like she's in control of the situation. How does that make you feel?
I'm still super confused.
Just confused. Okay. How about Black Bolt?
I think that Deneb has already walked into a trap, and I'm feeling I am the trap.
I like that. Okay. Let's roll with that, right? So Vega, she sort of like steeples her fingertips underneath her chin, right? She's like, Deneb, I'm sure you're aware that my turn will be coming soon.
Yes. That doesn't explain anything, though.
I have a lot of plans. I have a lot of things that I would like to do when I am in power.
So do a lot of people. Care to elaborate?
Deneb, living under my father's thumb, awaiting his oppressive rule to finally end, was torturous, and soon it will be my turn. But you and my father always got along well, maybe a little too well, in my opinion.
I only did. I only kissed his ass because I had to.
Wow, that's what they all say. I can empathize with that a little bit. I did what I had to do to survive under his reign, but my father, he just won't let go of the reins. He hasn't been the Polaris for good 2 turns now, and yet he still tries to squeeze and grab a hold. And I'm worried that he's going to try to do that during my reign.
What do you want me to do about it?
Well, I'm not foolish enough to strike out against my own father, but perhaps his allies, well.
I'm not Rigel Sala. I'm just kissing his ass because I have to, just like you.
So what would it take to ensure your loyalty during my reign as the Polaris?
I don't know. that's your question to answer.
Yes, indeed. And I find I'm struggling to come up with a proper answer. And the only one I can think of is that you should be eliminated.
Why?
Because your argument was not very convincing. I do not know how I can ensure your loyalty. And during my reign, the number one aspect I will look for is loyalty. And she points to you, Black Bolt. And she calls you by your fabled name, right? The name that is feared across the galaxy. What is that? What is your true name?
I think Black Bolt's real name is. It's gonna sound cheesy, but I guess it's kind of like White Rider, like that rides a pale horse, something like that.
Yes.
So I'm gonna say White Rider.
Love it. So she points to you and she says, and she like stands up, right? And she has like this. I think her humanoid features are slowly starting to turn like towards this more alien thing, right? And so like, maybe like she has her hair done in this like really ornate like halo style that's been kind of propped up, and she stands up and she has this long white dress on that's trailing down out of the throne. She stands and points to you and says, White Rider, are you prepared to demonstrate your loyalty?
I kind of look at Deneb as a side, as a side eye. I kind of go, sure, why not?
Then, as the first task, as my horseman of death, eliminate this enemy of Vega. Cut back to Van. How'd you do on your infiltration roll?
I got a 7.
Okay. So with a 7 or 9, one or the other, but not both. Do you get in or do you go unnoticed? I think we'd already established that you got in, so
I get noticed?
well, I'm gonna say that getting in means like getting into like the treasure vault.
Oh. Yeah, I'm gonna choose getting in and being noticed.
Okay. So we have like a stormtrooper moment or whatever, right? Where you're in the gear and you say, oh, hi, and the guard kind of looks at you oddly, but you kind of walk past them. As the gates of this treasure vault, which I'm imagining are like glittering gold, right, shut behind you, what gives you away at the last minute?
I think there's a.
Kidding.
Oh no! I should have used that Dio. I think it's actually there's a tear in the leg of my suit that I didn't notice. And so when it transforms, it like there's the tear is still there, and but like this kind of whatever they wear, it just doesn't look right. Or maybe like the guards would never, you're just not ever allowed to have any kind of like anything wrong with your appearance. Yeah, imperfection. Yeah. So like someone who works there, like you'd be docked a year's pay or something, or for having a tear. So no one would do that. And yet it's like a really large tear, like just on my leg.
So you have time to sort of lock this gate from the inside. Interesting function for a treasure vault, but still, before that guard who passed by you says, "Hey, what are you doing going around with that?"
Click, 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 click.
What are you doing? Guards, and
oh snap. Well, I hope it's going better with Deneb.
Should we cut back? Yeah, so Deneb, like...
Deneb has a plan. I am going to call out to Black Bolt.
Mm,
And I will, I guess, roll plus star.
yes, you want to... What is the call? When you call to someone, choose one. Okay. Using your star power.
Using
What
my
do you
star.
say?
Black Bolt in his mind.
Right.
Black Bolt.
Oh, you're just calling out his name, huh?
Well, in his mind, like, first of all, I'm just like, hey, Black Bolt,
You're
can you still
establishing
hear
connection.
me? Yeah, can you still hear me? Making sure that Vega doesn't have super secret powers that are mind controlling him or anything.
Okay.
All right.
So you just want to roll for that, huh? What did you get?
Reroll. That is a 9. So that means I cannot use it again on this person until I use it on someone else. I want, and then I choose one of the options, and I will choose the perform one simple action of your choice. And I say, let's fake it.
Can I actually... do I have to accept this proposition, or can I actually resist this proposition? Because she actually succeed, but it happened, beyond my control. So
I do
Oh,
want to.
okay.
I do want to just like step back on a meta level and talk
Yeah.
about this real quick, right?
Yeah.
Because I think that this move is like sort of designed for like NPCs as opposed
Yeah,
to
that makes
PCs.
sense. That makes sense. In that
And
case,
no, we can figure it out though. You know,
Yeah.
we don't necessarily. We can rewind if that's what's best.
yeah,
I
we
just
can
want to.
rewind.
I want to talk a bit more about what the stakes here might be, right?
Yeah.
So, Black Bolt, you're ready to become the White Rider and to fulfill your destiny as the Engine of Destruction. Is that what I'm reading?
yeah, pretty much that's the case. Since Lady Vega wants a loyal servant, and she's actually calling out my real name in front of everybody. Why not? And since Deneb has actually sold his friend's father in a blink of an eye, just like that. So how can I trust her in the future?
Fair enough. What do you think you would like to gain from your loyalty to Vega? What's your hope and dream there?
I guess a total. I'm gonna say a sort of a statue of like a person of higher authority, something like that, so that all my previous crimes shall be forgiven, and a blank state. I'm gonna say a new chance, a new chance, and maybe gaining a real, a more powerful position in her court, maybe as her right hand or something like that, maybe.
So yeah, so you have all these like visions of power sort of circulating through your mind, and who's to say that these aren't even perhaps being motivated by, Vega's, magical sorceress powers. But I think I want to ride with this telepathic angle, right? But I think it's going to have to be more of like you trying to convince Black Bolt as opposed to like you commanding Black Bolt.
Okay, that makes sense.
But I just kind of wonder like what you would say.
I'll say that. It's she can't do that. She can't give you anything.
Sorry, I have a question actually before. Sorry to interrupt. Rigel is Vega's father, right?
Yeah.
So Vega is the friend whose father is Rigel?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to confirm because I thought it was very interesting that Black Bolt, the way that Black Bolt was justifying it, is like, oh, I can't trust I can't trust Deneb because she's ready to just turn on her friend's father, but doesn't care that Vega is literally turning on her own father, and that's very interesting. Anyway, okay, cool. Just wanted to confirm.
I think it was less of like the morality of like patricide, more along the lines of if her loyalty is so quick to switch, then how can I trust that she won't betray me? Is that right, Ibars? Is that what I was hearing from you?
Exactly. I mean, right now everybody is selling out everybody else, and I'm the weapon here, so I don't know which part I'm gonna hurt. And basically, I'm just gonna ask a small question: Is Vega a goddess or an immortal or is a living being?
She is a powerful being who is about to become like a godlike level of power. She's not quite there, but when her turn comes, so to speak, she gains that power. So she's like
except it's
a waxing moon.
It's godlike power, but it's also limited, and that's what I'm trying to tell Ivar's. Like, Rigel is actually the guy who is like one of the guys who's actually in control here. It's not just the Polaris, and that's my argument.
Okay.
Like,
So if this is his palace, where is he? I mean, if it's really a god, if it's really super powerful, omnipotent, where is he?
I don't know.
And why I'm actually seeing her daughter instead of him in his throne?
I don't know. Is my answer.
Okay. So maybe you should be much more selective in choosing your friends.
Also, are we gonna go into PvP? Is that what's happening?
I have no idea.
I guess.
Yeah, so that's kind of what my next question was going to be as well. Is it looks like we're both trying to, in our own ways, ultimately win a competition, right? One of us has like weapons of mass destruction, and one of us has powerful telepathic mind control, right? And if it does come down to a battle, right? Like, how would you all feel about that before we even go there? Like, what would you think about that element of the story?
It's fine. I just think that Deneb's route isn't going to be like outright combat. Like, she's gonna try to wriggle out of combat. But if it comes down to combat, then she's gonna try to escape. Like,
okay,
but yeah,
so
I can not out. Like, combat is fine. Combat is fine.
I mean, like,
I
would
prefer
you
actually stating a small act. Here's my plan.
Okay.
Do Deneb has any sort of like flying or stuff like that, or any jetpack? Flying.
No.
Super.
Well,
Nothing.
she has a super form, but she's not gonna use it.
Okay. My actual plan is to grab her by the neck, get her to the edge of that cliff that we had just landed, and just drop her at the same time, giving her a small piece of grappling hook, something like that. So maybe actually she's out of sight. She can just use it to hook somewhere else, so that she's actually out of sight, so that actually people believe that she's dead, but she's not dead.
Okay. So
taking it. I mean.
So you would, as far as the story goes, you would like to see this be resolved through trickery as opposed to fighting each other.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
that's fair.
I don't want her dead. I just want her to be just out of sight for a minute, so that I can see what's really going on here.
Okay. So we're still trying. Yeah, we're trying to appease Vega for the time being. Cool. So like, let's just say that happens, right? You're able to communicate telepathically. You hold Deneb, maybe you hold her up, even like against the weight of this gravity, you're able to like hold her, and you have this like little grappling hook that shoots out your wrist or whatever it might be, right?
Yeah, something like that.
So Deneb is left hanging by a thread from the outside of this port, and you are ushered back down the hall by these palace guards, right? And they've come and they've brought fine like white robes, like with like a silken texture, and they've kind of dressed them over your shoulders as they usher you back to Vega, right? And she says, "Well done, my white rider. I'm sure you will have many more opportunities to demonstrate your loyalty to me in the upcoming cycle of the stars."
Of course, my lady, it is my pleasure to serve you.
In the past, I've been following you closely, though you may not know it. Your acts of service to me, your brutal swath that you struck through the galaxy was orchestrated by me.
I see. Well, I kind of in debt to you as well, I guess.
In the past, how were you paid by Vega in her shell companies, you know?
I'm gonna say credits or whatever the currency is that. Gold. It's not probably gold, but credits.
So she says to you, like, I can offer you wealth beyond imagination if you will serve as my right hand.
I will like to call Vega right now as I'm falling or hanging from a thread.
Okay.
I
So,
have an idea.
okay.
Can I have the option to have a voice recorder application on my body?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I'm recording everything she's saying.
Okay. Very cool. It sounds like there's a lot of plans going on, and I want to see them come to fruition, but I don't want to forget about Van. So I want to cut back to her real quick, right? There's banging on these golden gates behind you, right? Yeah. You turn around and there's lots of treasure, right?
Mhm.
I think I want to find a cool answer to this question, like, where is Rigel?
Oh, interesting. Yes. Okay. I think this is where the mirror shades come in. So let's just say that I can find where the mirror shades are. Whatever. Maybe it's in a very obvious on a very obvious pedestal or something.
We got like 5 minutes left, so yeah.
And I think Rigel is actually trapped in the mirror shades.
How can you tell when you like look at them?
Yeah, I think when I take them and I put them on, then I hear his voice.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, oh, sick.
You are a stealthy one.
Thank you. Ready to remove my.
That's a terrible like opening quote from this like shadow master guy. You're stealthy. Okay. Anyway, you caught me without a good one-liner. Yeah. So, what would he say to you? He says,
Is this like a special? Are you okay?
Yes. But please don't leave. Hold on. Keep them on.
Okay.
There's a lot. It's a long story, but these glasses that you're wearing are very special.
Right. Uh-huh. No, I'm also on a bit of a time crunch, so also, who are you?
I am someone who can offer you a great number of boons if we can simply escape.
Oh. Oh, okay. Wait. Are you the Mirror Shades currently talking to me?
Sort of.
Right. Long story. Right. I forgot.
Long story. But I assure you, on the name of Rigel, the bright western star, if you can manage to get these glasses out in one piece and take me to a destination I will tell you about in a future time, because I can't pull one out of my ass right immediately.
Okay.
You will be that's me speaking. Then you will be rewarded beyond measure.
You know what? Sure. This is not against my original plans, and I didn't think that the Mirror Shades would speak, but that's okay. You have a nice voice. I'm okay with this. All right, let's just hold on tight. All right. And I'm going to start pulling out just like inordinate amounts of explosives from my suit. It's like, how does that fit in a spacesuit? Who knows? It's magic, science magic. And I just like am like laying them around the room. I'm like, oh, this looks nice. Maybe I don't want it to explode. It's okay. And then I also am like lighting up a reefer as I do this. And I'm like, yeah, good times. Yeah, man, this is like a work of art, whatever.
I'm imagining like you pull out like a stick of dynamite and then like replace it with like a golden goblet or whatever. So like your suit is like kind of just being swapped out for treasures.
Yes.
And
like, then
wait, be careful with that. That's 14th century alabaster. Hold on.
Okay. Look, I said I like your voice, but that don't mean I want you to keep talking to me. Don't worry. I got you. Man, I'm hungry. And my plan is basically once I got everything set up, I'm going to go I'm going to open the doors, and then when all the guards rush in, I'm gonna light that. Sure, whatever.
What's your plan for not getting blown up?
I will climb onto the ceiling. Oh,
cool. I think you might have to turn into a cool void rat to do that, right?
I can totes do that.
Okay. Yeah, that's a were rat thing. So cool. That sounds like you're willingly maybe losing control of yourself.
Yeah. Okay, should I roll for it?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Oh, that's a 4.
Okay.
Plus 1 is 5.
So you're gonna harm your enemies, your friends, yourself, and there's gonna be consequences. Okay.
Wait, where are your friends? Like, are your friends anywhere near the fucking explosion?
It says chooses 1 or more. Oh, okay, so you can choose all of them. Okay. Because on a 6 or less, the GM chooses 1 or more and tells you the consequences.
Okay.
Go for it.
So basically, I'm just gonna say that that's gonna be a bad thing, all around.
Cool. Awesome.
So we've had a little bit of time to marinate on our plans here. I think we're coming down to the wire. So like, this needs to be the decisive moment, right, of where we pull off what we're trying to accomplish here. So what do you think, Maria? What are you trying to do by revealing that you're actually alive?
I'm calling out to her because one of my call out options is that they must come to you.
Oh, so you want her to jump out of her palace?
Yes.
Okay. And what did
and basically chase me.
Okay. So
by saying, what about your boyfriend? Isn't he already your right-hand man?
Okay. So yeah. All right. And what are you thinking about doing here, White Rider?
Okay. If Vega is actually calling her, I'm just gonna calm down her.
You're muted. Or not muted, but like you're.
Is everything okay?
Yeah, I think you just had your hand on your.
Sorry. Well, if Vega is actually following Deneb, then I'm try to hold back her troops so that nobody is actually following Vega, so that Deneb and Vega can be face to face.
Okay, so I'm just gonna like lay this out for our last little business here, right? Something bad is happening involving explosives and being an out of control were rat. We're going to have a role where Deneb is going to see if she can successfully goad Vega into following her, right? I think that the stakes there are that Vega may lash out at White Rider or Black Bolt for lying to her, right? And he might have to suffer harm. So if you get a mixed result, that's going to happen.
Well, if I get that mixed result, I just mean it says that I cannot use it until I use it on someone else.
Yeah, I'm just going to custom move it since
yeah.
we got a few minutes left, right?
That makes
this
sense.
is just like our montage roll.
All right, cool.
And I think failure here is going to mean that you don't escape.
That is full success. That's an 11.
Okay. So you are able to fully goad her away. And in her righteous fury, she stomps right past you, Black Bolt, right? If anything, you maybe feel like it might be a little insulting, right?
Like she was promising you riches and then suddenly, what the fuck? And then she walks past you.
So as you see her turn to chase after Deneb, who you're interested in defending, maybe the first time you haven't killed someone when they were so close in your grasp to just, being slain. But you hear this huge explosion, right? And it rocks the whole palace. And I think we can zoom out and see that like this ball is like moving and is like become detached from its like central hover point. It's sort of like gyrating around this hollow space. And I think that the sound of that distant rumbling thunder that you'd first heard when you'd seen that pillar, like you're hearing that again. And you might make this connection, Black Bolt, that this planet is becoming unstable.
We have to go right now.
Well, so last dramatic choice of the game. We're going to leave the what happens to Van somewhat vague. We'll do a quick epilogue, though, to kind of flash forward to where they end up. But I want this last dramatic choice. Are you going to stay behind and try to stabilize this core so that this whole planet doesn't come crashing down, killing all those rebels and people and infrastructure? Or are you going to get the hell out of here and go live your life?
Okay, so what is actually Vega thinks of me right now? Is she seeing me as a traitor or, because it all depends.
I
she
think
just passed me, and I didn't, catch a glimpse of her look towards me.
Yeah, I think that Vega's loyalty is important to Vega, and now that she's heard that you have, not been completely loyal, you are waste to her. You will be taken out like the rest of the trash.
Can I actually touch Vega?
Sure.
Can I actually dispose of her?
You can try. You are the engine of destruction.
Okay.
That would be dramatic. So we'll have that. So would that be you trying to escape or trying to stabilize the core? Or option C, where none of those things happen?
It's a tough choice. I think for once in my life, I'm gonna do something good, and I'm gonna try to stabilize the core.
Okay. So do you think that grabbing Vega will help you with that? Or do you have a different plan?
I think if I grab Vega and push her to the core so that she can be the stabilizer and she can be held captive in the core, it will be win-win for me.
Sounds like a pretty good science fantasy justification.
Why not?
Also, that would explain why she's trapped in heaven to begin with.
Final roll of the game, roll with destruction.
Okay, wish me luck. It's a failure, I guess.
Okay.
Well, no, it's plus 2.
+2, so it's 7.
Okay, nice. So let's do epilogues. Okay. So this is your opportunity to just basically narrate whatever happens to you, however far down the line we see you, what you're doing. How you got there is not necessarily important, but just quick little snippet. And I think I want to come to Van last, if that's okay, because I think your current position is the most precarious, right? So keep in mind the results of your last rolls. Maybe that will like kind of influence how you describe your epilogue, right? So Deneb got an 11, and Black Bolt got a 7, and Van got a 6, right? So whoever has one in mind can shoot.
I think this is like Deneb is basically calling out to what was the wizard's name, through the chaos, and that's how they arrive at the planet, because Wazaya. And it's basically like Deneb has been trying to evade Altair for this entire fucking time because of him trying to get uh trying to get a deal with Rigel and the other folk to see Vega. So I think uh like Deneb is actually trying to call uh to him and his crew to actually explain what's been going on. So that's why so it's like I called Wasaya and now they're in this planet. Oh wait, the planet is in the nebula and it's gonna destroy the band and everyone else. And not really, because they got imploded upon itself and shit happened. But okay. So I think the whole thing was a setup by Deneb to actually talk to Altair and say, hey, this fucking sucks and it's all Rigel's fault. Also, Van, where you get those mirror shades?
I think what happens is that Black Bolt grabs that woman, that pseudo goddess, and really grabs her by the arm and pushes her to the core, driving her, or actually falling down to the core. And once she's stuck there, he whispers into her ear that I am the only master of myself. And well, actually, he's tried to leave her stuck in that core, just that core energy melting her presence into one gigantic, I don't know, structure. She at the final moment grabs his arm and tore his right arm. I don't know if that's okay. And so he's actually living, but he's completely, I'm gonna say, lost his right arm. So that leaves a permanent scar in his mind. He thinks himself free, but that's also a reminder of that's his atonement for his sins.
Very cool. And Van, what happened to you, buddy?
I think
Or we don't even
maybe
have to answer that. We just
yeah.
what you
So
up to later.
so in the background, Wouldn't It Be Nice by the Beach Boys plays, and Van slowly opens her eyes and she is floating in space. She looks down and sees that she's still wearing her spacesuit. This is the spacesuit that she went on the heist in. And it is completely smeared with dried blood, and it's caked with it, actually. So there are layers and layers of it all over her. And she reaches to her pocket and pulls out the mirror shades, smiles, and clicks a button on her spacesuit. And you can see from a very distant place, like the her space van slowly floating towards her.
Clicky, clicky.
Yeah. So yep, she done killed a lot of people.
Say it sounds like
Wait, so the core thing was like all for nothing?
What?
Stabilizing the core because
I
she
think-
blew it up anyways.
Well, I think that the explosion probably set off that core instability.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then also, like, before the explosion happened, I think Van already went into void rat mode. And,
Oh, right,
like,
and also the guards, and also the explosion, and also yeah.
yeah, and yeah.
I like that this film didn't have the CGI budget for transformation, so they just
Exactly.
cut to carnage afterwards, right?
Don't worry, just paint lots of blood on you. It's
Yeah.
okay. We got it.
Cool. Thanks everyone for sticking around and seeing a nice little send off to this series of Sidereal Tenets. Thanks in particular, Ibars, for joining us for your first online game. I think it went off pretty smoothly. We're coming up on time here a little bit, so
We're past time.
we're a little bit past time, unfortunately. But if you all want to hit me up later, either on Slack or through Google Hangouts, and just tell me about your experience, specifically Ibars, if you have any questions about online gaming or any thoughts about how things went, I'd love to hear from you. I'd like to do what I can to make the first time smoother for new people. So definitely would love some feedback on that.
Thank you for playing and participating.
Yes.
I'm gonna stop the broadcast now.